All right, everybody, we can go ahead and get started with Coach. Jen, you can go ahead and graph and go after Jen.
Hi there, Coach. Some eye-popping offensive numbers here as of late. Curious, what's the balance in that recipe? How much of that is because of good defense leading to offense, and how much of it is just better offensive principles and plays?
I don't know if it's principles and plays, it's players. And, we've got, two guys that we can play through that have been very tough to stop and highly efficient and very unselfish. So that's been a big key. And then when Lonzo plays the way he did last game and we get the ball moving and other people get involved, then we're pretty tough to stop.
Indeed. CJ McCollum making his return tonight. Coach Stott says won't play his normal minutes, but not a hard minute restriction. Take us inside your scouting report for your guys. What do you prepare them for? What do you expect CJ to bring tonight?
I mean, you prepare for him to bring what he's always brought to the game, which is, this guy's a big time scorer, both on and off the ball, and shoots the ball with great range. He and Lillard both shooting over 11 threes a game this year. This is a high powered backcourt. Maybe the best in the league, probably the best in the league. And, they present significant challenge. Lillard's range alone really makes it tough on your defense because he stretches you out. It's not just that he shoots the three well, it's that he shoots it so deep, it makes your defense come out, makes you cover more ground. Really difficult to stop. So, yeah, we expect that this will, playing them in pick and rolls and even off the ball stuff, off the ball screens, very difficult tonight with those two guys in there.
Coach Carl Lewis Jr.'s played in the last 4 games. He's played a lot of minutes as well, and he's had 4 straight games with steals, 2 of them with multiple steals. How is he progressing defensively in the last week and a half?
Well, look, he does a good job off the ball. He's active. He reads plays well. He's got good anticipation, really good quickness, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in. So that's all good. What we're working toward and what Kyra's working toward is to be better on the ball. And obviously tonight will be a big challenge because even when they go to the bench, it's Anthony Simons and Gary Trent. I mean, they've really got great backcourt players. So he'll be challenged tonight on the ball also, and he's working hard at getting better.
Well, when Portland goes to the bench, they're going to bring in Carmelo Anthony as well, and he's been a very good closer for them. Damian Lillard gets all the pub as far as closing games out, but Carmelo's been just as good, nearly 5th in the league in threes, so he's been pretty good in clutch situations.
Always has been his entire career. I mean, that's who he's been. He's always made big shots down the stretch. Never, because maybe he wasn't on teams going deep in the playoffs, he's never gotten the credit that he deserves in that regard because he's always been one of the best clutch players in this league.
Stan, 38 assists last game. It seemed like a significant number of them were just you guys back cuts or moving without the ball. I mean, how much did you like that aspect of your offense, the way you guys just moved when they didn't have the ball in the previous game?
Yeah, it was the best we've done all year. Moving without the ball. Casey Hill had taken him through film, the day of the game, pointing out some things where cuts could be open, and our guys did a fantastic job in that game.
Yeah, you mentioned after that Minnesota game that you weren't happy with the activity level, the energy. Just what do you like about your team defense these past 2 games, what you've been able to show?
Well, we've just played harder. Our disposition's been better. We've been into the ball. Our pursuit has been better. Everything's just been harder and better, and that's the key to the whole thing. And it'll certainly be the key tonight because these guys score even against the best defenses in the league. I mean, they're really a good offensive team, and this backcourt is tough, and you just have to stay the course and keep fighting and make it as difficult as you can.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask about Patrick Ewing at Georgetown. Obviously, he's a guy who you know very well, but he had to wait his turn kind of for a head coaching job, getting passed up in the NBA. I was just curious, with a guy of his pedigree, how have you noticed his patience develop as a coach and kind of the patience needed to be a coach in general?
Yeah, I don't know if it's been patience. He had no choice as far as the NBA. Nobody would give him an opportunity. I think there's an unfair stigma about big guys. I think we see teams turn to, when it's ex-players, they turn to Jason Kidd and Steve Nash and guys who have been point guards with no coaching experience. Patrick was in there working at it and working at coaching and getting better in every aspect of it. Game planning, teaching on the court, the whole X and O thing for a long, long time in the NBA and never got a shot. And thankfully, Georgetown gave him an opportunity to show what he could do as a head coach. And, if you watch him play, there's no question that the guy can really, really coach. And so, happy as hell for his success. And I think you'll see it continue on into the future. He's got a great recruiting class coming in. And I think they're poised to be getting back to the level Georgetown was at in the glory years.
Right. I mean, he's a pretty reserved person, it seems like, just from the outside. But, I mean, what do you make of him kind of having to recruit to pitch a guy and go that route that you wouldn't maybe have to do that in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, first of all, he's going to walk in, and all the parents have watched him play and everything else. Everybody knows who he is. And even if you didn't, when you talk to him, I mean, this is a guy who's totally got it together and understands what it takes. I mean, he understands what it takes to become a great player. He can help you get to where you want to go as a player. So he's got a lot of selling points. And he's not that reserved. I mean, I think he's quiet around the media at times, hasn't always been treated fairly by the media. But when he gets in a situation like that with recruiting, I'm sure he is not reserved at all.
Thank you.
Chris Herring, go ahead.
Hi, Stan. I wanted to ask you a question just because when I've talked to you in the past, strategically, you've always been really open just kind of about the shifts in the game and stuff like that. But I'm really curious about kind of how rebounding has changed in the NBA. You guys lead the league in rebounding percentage. And it used to be that, if a team is right at the top of the league in that statistic, these are normally teams that are right at the top of the standings. And I guess I'm curious about to what extent rebounding has shifted just as far as the way teams crash the glass, if they crash the glass at all, and what that means for kind of how defensive rebounding has changed. But also, obviously, looking at Andre Drummond, who you coach, and just the idea that, finding a spot for him and a home for him, even though he's been one of the best rebounders in the game, the best rebounder in the game. What have you made of just kind of how it obviously still matters, but how it's changed over the last few years?
Well, it matters a lot still. It's changed because the floor is spread.